Hello and welcome everybody to another live session at the Reactors. My name is Ravneet and I'm the Program Manager at Reactor London. Before we get into the session, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We're all here to learn, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, and please be kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Please note that this session is recorded and will be available to view on our Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. I would like to welcome you all again to another session of SaaS Academy. This is a joint venture brought to you by Microsoft Western Europe, United Kingdom, and the Microsoft Reactor. SaaS Academy was inspired by our CEO's vision that every company is becoming a software company, and here is a quick video which explains all about SaaS Academy.
Did you know that every business will eventually become a software business? Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella not only made that prediction, but also continues to lead Microsoft to SaaSify its portfolio. With SaaS solutions, you can grow your business and make even sophisticated enterprise applications like ERP and CRM affordable if you lack the resources to buy, deploy, and manage your infrastructure and software. So, how to get started with SaaS? That's why we created the Microsoft SaaS Academy. It is your chance to deep dive into the latest Microsoft technologies and learn more about the future of software as a service from Microsoft experts, partners, and customers. Our SaaS Academy was designed with a business track and a tech track to provide companies like yours with the SaaS knowledge that fulfills their needs. Our business track covers the SaaS fundamentals, whether you are a cloud-native company or a traditional software provider, while the tech track addresses technical aspects of building a SaaS solution, including SaaS architecture, DevOps, and sustainable software engineering. You can get started with SaaS in the same time it would take you to build a Microsoft PowerPoint about it. Ready to accelerate your journey to SaaS? Don't miss our upcoming webinars and join the Microsoft SaaS Academy now.
I'm now going to invite Doreen, founder of SaaS Academy, to explain further the session. Hi, Doreen, over to you now.
Hi, Rav. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to our SaaS Academy webinar. Today's session is not about the typical topics like effective cost management, security, reliable operations. Today, we are going to talk about building the future applications, and we are going to touch two main areas that Microsoft is very committed to change in the world that could make a sales differentiator to your offer in the market. The first one is how to build accessible software. And in that regards, for those of you who can't see me, I'm a brunette woman wearing a black top and my hair is pulled back today. And I want to share with you three important facts about accessibility. The first one, disability in many sorts is more than 50% in our global population. And in fact, each of us may encounter some kind of situational disability at some point through their life. And we saw that very vivid post the pandemic. The third one is that the estimated buying power for people with disabilities in the market is estimated over $3 trillion a year. And if this is all true, then how come not so many companies are putting accessibility as a part of their SaaS strategy? We are here to teach you today how to get started if you want to have a sales differentiator for your software with accessibility products. And I'm very delighted to host today Juanjo Montiel. He's a Microsoft employee from Ireland, and he will be talking you through the importance of creating accessible products and what are the key takeaways every one of you can take today to make it easier for your company to implement accessibility in your application. Without further ado, welcome to our session, Juanjo.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting me. Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me well, right?
Yes, we hear you very well, Juanjo.
Okay, that's perfect. So, well, guys, I want to introduce myself. My name is Juanjo Montiel. I have been working at Microsoft for almost 9 months now. And I can say safely that I'm here today thanks to accessible technologies. And in a big part, thanks to Microsoft Accessible Technology. I'm not saying that because I'm working here. It's a real thing. Well, I am 37 years old, and when I was small, I was very, very passionate about technology, like today. I started developing software when I was 16 years old. And when I was able to install my first screen reader in my computer. But maybe the first thing that we have to understand is what is a screen reader. So let me share my screen and I can show you. Okay. Checked. Okay, can you hear my screen reader now?
Juanjo, I can't hear your screen reader yet.
No? 1 second.
No.
Let me try to reshare my screen. Sorry, guys.
That's okay, no problem.
Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Now, let's see.
Yes, we have your screen.
Okay, so basically, guys, a screen reader is a software that speak aloud everything that appear on my screen. This synthesizer that you can hear is the synthesizer that speak everything that appear here. For example, I can go to a menu.
Search box edit. Pinned recommended. Pinned list box. Microsoft Edge 1 of 20. Microsoft Store. Set Microsoft Ado. Third one note 19.
Okay. The voice is a very high speed. I can slow down.
Slower. OneNote 19 of 20.
Much better, right?
Microsoft Ado. 13.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, thanks to this application, this screen reader, that now we have also integrated on Windows with narrator, I can handle my computer. I can operate it. Okay. So thanks to this accessible technology, I can do what I'm passionate about, which is developing software. I remember that the first line of code that I created was in 1998 with a notepad because there was not accessible environment at all. And now I can show you, for example, the accessible environments like Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. For example, this is a demo that I'm going to show you later, and this is Visual Studio. Visual Studio is an application that is fully accessible. So, for example, I can use a lot of shortcuts to do everything. I can go to Solution Explorer and read everything.
Task view.
Oh, sorry, now it's locked. Hello.
Left margin. Search box edit.
And now you know the demo effect.
Virtual PC castwe.a11d demo running Microsoft Visual Studio. Microsoft Technical Documentation heading level 1. Castwe.a11 Solution Explorer.
Okay, so I have a lot of shortcuts to do a lot of things. Solution Explorer, for example, error list
tab,
output window.
tab, text editor.
I can open whatever code here.
Navigate. Search results list.
And read it.
PC. Text editor. Cast 2 tabs. Public eye action result. Good left parent right.
The screen reader is able to read everything. Auto completion, indentation, punctuation, everything that I need to be a good developer or a bad developer. It depends on you, but at least I have the tools to do it. So when I started to study my computer science degree, I was very, very lucky because I was able to have all the books in digital format. For example, like this.
StreamYard replica and 2 Kindle for PC for hands-on design.
With a Kindle application, for example, I can read everything.
Blank. Screen of right trace. In the previous code snippet, we have created 2 objects, not instances of a pet animal class.
Okay,
You can see that,
so I can follow the classes, I can follow what the teacher is doing, he can share the code in the class, and so on. When I finished my studies, I moved to another city, to Madrid, and I remember that it was a big mess because, for example, the GPS technology was not very mature, and I got lost all the time around the city. Good thing that I have my guide dog, Mary, that is not here anymore. And now, fortunately, everything is very different. For example, I have my mobile phone, and I can show you how sounds application of GPS like Soundscape. Soundscape is an application developed by Microsoft that allow me to move around the city and see everything that is around me.
Low battery. Close button.
For example,
Messages. 68 unread message. App switcher. Seeing AI. Messages. Soundscape. Active.
Soundscape. Can you hear it,
Current
right?
location. Button. Sleep. Button. Choose destination. Search field. Places nearby. Button.
Places nearby.
Markers and routes.
Markers
Button.
and routes.
Current location.
Current
Button.
location.
Near Kuala Crescent. 0 meters. Near Kuala Crescent. Dunleo Air Company. Dublin. Start audio beacon. Button.
I can put audio
Double
beacons.
tap to set an audio.
I can put a route and move around the city with the GPS with a very high accuracy. So the technology is wonderful, above all when you create accessible technology. Also, we have other applications like Move-It, for example, that allow me to see buses and train routes. For example, yesterday I was in another country. I was in Spain, in my country, to do some speech. And when I got back to home, I had to take 3 buses. And thanks to this application, I was able to see the time remaining for the buses. I was able to see when to get off and all these kind of things. Also, thanks to this accessible technology. I remember when I was in Madrid that this application wasn't exist. And I missed a lot of buses because I was not able to see all this information. In 2007, I got my first job, and I started to use Visual Studio 2005. Now we have seen Visual Studio 2022, and it has a lot of improvement regarding accessibility. But with this application, with Visual Studio 2005, I was able to start working in the professional work in a very accessible way. The environment has changed a lot, and now everything is more accessible. Well, then I moved to Barcelona, where my wife is, and we had our son was born, and this was another challenge. And thanks to the technology, these challenges are also very simple. For example, our problems with him was, for example, when he had a high temperature, we didn't know how to measure that. And thanks to thermometers connected by Bluetooth to my iPhone that has the screen reader, is the same that in the computer, it's just another name, we were able to see what was his temperature. Also to cook with an air fryer, which is accessible with a mobile phone. Also to share games with him. We have the car accessible in Braille. We have accessible game to share with him. And we have, for example, to share tales and stories with him. We have this device. I don't know if you can see my camera now, or I have to start sharing my screen.
We can see your camera. We can see it.
Thank you. So with this device, I can connect it to his iPad. He can read his stories in his iPad, and we can read in Braille with this device. So we can read together. My wife, she's blind too, I, and our son, in a very accessible way, which is fantastic. You can't imagine what is the difference between being able to do all this kind of thing with him thanks to technology, or not being able to do that. Well, thank you to all these accessible technologies, I was able to work in 2 companies in Spain, and also thanks to SaaS services like GitHub or Azure DevOps. So I'm gonna show you, for example, how the screen reader is able to read one GitHub page.
Kindle for PC for hands-on. Task switching. Castwe.a11d demo running. StreamYard.com. StreamYard and one more replica and two more pages work. Castwe Juanjo Microsoft Edge work. Castwe Juanjo. Castwe virtual.
Can you see the screen, right? And it's in the screen reader.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Can see the screen.
I can read everything here.
Juanjo Castwe heading level 1. Senior software engineer at Microsoft. Edit profile button. Link 40 followers. Dot. Link 0 following.
I can jump between headings.
Achievements heading level 2. Organizations heading level 2. Popular repositories heading level 2.
I can move between regions.
Grabbing the top. Main region. Grabbing the top.
Between buttons.
More button collapsed. Set status button collapsed.
Everything thanks to the screen reader and thanks to that GitHub is also very, very accessible. In the end, Microsoft hired me like 9 months ago, and we moved to Dublin with all the family. Thanks to Teams, for example, which is also very, very accessible, I was able to do the interviews with the interviewer. We were able to share code to do the technical interviews, thanks to Teams share screen capabilities, and also thanks to application like Share. And in the end, we were able to move here. For example, one of the tools that I use every day is Visual Studio, as I showed you before. I saw you before, and also tools like Visual Studio Code, in which we have also the web application that is very, very accessible too. So as you can see here, the screen reader is able to read everything like Visual Studio does. This is in Spanish, a little bit of mixture, but you can see that the screen reader is able to read everything. So I have two environments, accessible environment to work in my day-to-day. Or for example, we also use Azure DevOps. And the same that GitHub, Azure DevOps is also very accessible, and I can work with my colleagues in equal conditions. We can create pull requests, we can change code, we can do paid programming with Visual Studio and Lightshare. So even we have some problem with some inaccessible tools sometimes, the truth is that I can work in equal conditions thanks to these accessible technologies. And as I said before, my mobile phone is like, it's a tool set in which I can do a lot of things. I have an application called Scene AI that was developed by Microsoft. And with this application, I can do a lot of things.
Seeing AI.
For example,
Top of screen. Channel. Short text.
we have different
Adjustable.
channels. One of them
Swipe
is
up or down
short
with one
text.
finger.
So I have here a letter, and I can focus. Alexa, stop. Sorry, Alexa is kidding me. So I have this letter here, and I can focus with the mobile phone, and the mobile phone will be able to read everything.
Channel. Adjustable.
Oh, it's in the opposite, could be. Now it's not working. Let me try to restart it and show
App
you
switcher.
guys.
Seeing AI.
I think
Closing
that
Seeing AI.
it's
App
locked.
switcher. Soundscape. Messages.
I can also
68
type in
select
Braille
current
with the
words.
mobile phone,
Speaking rate. Language. Braille screen
like
input.
this.
Orientation lock. N. Seeing AI.
And now let's see.
Recognizing English. Button. Double tap to change. Doctor. Edvardis Carvalhonis. Ophthalmologist. 2-3 Castle. Roar professional. Doctor. Edvardis Carva/Iunas.
Okay,
2-3.
so I can read all the letters. I can read documents. I can see the light level in a room. So the other day I was in a hotel and I was able to switch off all the lights with this application to detect the room number, everything, thanks to
9.
my mobile phone and this accessible technology.
Speech off.
Juanjo,
Yeah.
this is Doreen here. I'm giving you the 10 minutes
Okay,
notice
okay.
you wanted.
Okay, perfect. Thank
I
you.
jump in and say that this is very, very inspiring how the world is becoming more and more inclusive to have everyone be able to work for their passion, right? And not be restricted to follow their dreams because simply it's just not possible for them to be a part of the world, to take a part of the workforce.
Exactly.
While you take the last 10 minutes, I really want you to try to explain the audience what difference did it make on your life, and was it very how was the kind of hiring experience you received? Because I want people in the session to kind of understand it's not so complicated to make their processes inclusive and to open up their workforce for people so talented and so passionate like you. Okay.
Okay, you say the hiring process at Microsoft, right?
Yes, like I just want people to be able to understand how can they start tomorrow to make their workforce more inclusive, and what are the key points they have to consider, right?
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so let me show you a small little demo about some barriers that I can find in my day-to-day. Oh, sorry, a lot of windows. Okay, so basically, can you see my screen here, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So one of the most important things here in a web page, for example, is describe images. When we are in a web page and you use images to transmit information, the screen reader is not like an OCR. The screen reader is not able to detect images. So one of the good things is that you can label your images with an attribute in your HTML pages. So for example, in this page,
closing hollow round bullet home access hollow round bullet link labeled images spell loading
here we have some images, and the images has alt text, and the screen reader is able to read all the texts.
A11D demo logo. Go to home visited link graphic.
Can you understand the screen reader, or should I slow down the speed?
If you could slow it down slightly.
Lower, faster, wearable link graphic.
This is perfect.
Okay, so as you can see, the screen reader is able to read all the images thanks to this attribute. So this is fundamental, okay? So you have to put all this information. Also, another very, very important thing. Forms. Okay, so here, for example, we have a form, and we have a lot of form around our web pages. So one very, very important thing is put labels in all the forms in order to the screen reader understand what is each field. For example, I can jump with the screen reader. We can jump between the different elements in a web page. For example, I can press the E key and I can go to a specific control. Full name, edit. We can also say if the field is required or not with different attributes. Also, when we send the form, we should indicate the errors to the screen reader. Okay, so with this kind of web pages in which we are sharing all this information, the person is able to understand what is missing, what is wrong, and so on. Okay. Also, the structure of a web page is very, very important. Okay, because for a screen reader, if a web page doesn't have a good structure, the screen reader person, the screen reader user, won't be able to understand what is the structure of the web page. So, for example,
access a list of bullets, list of hollow round bullet visited link, hollow round bullet visited link,
good structure. Okay, so here we can see that with the screen reader, we can jump between headings.
Can't I just use divs? It's gonna look the same. Head menu heading level 2.
We can jump between sections.
Navigation menu navigation pagina content.
We can get even list of regions.
Document region.
So if the page doesn't have all the semantic that we need, this is the navigation in the web page will be very, very complex. So the semantic things is also very, very important, that our web page has a very good structure, because the screen reader is not able to understand your visual appearance of your web page. You can see if you have a menu in the center of the page, you can see the footer, what it is. So we need to be very, very aware about the structure with all the semantics that HTML provides us.
With structure access, closing tab,
Okay,
close.
what else? Also the keyboard navigation. So we should be able to navigate our page with the keyboard. So one of the most simple tests that we can do is disconnect your mouse and navigate through your web page, your web page with your keyboard. If you are not able to reach out something or interact with something in your web page, you are doing something wrong. Okay, so this is also very, very important. For example, we have sometimes menus that are activated with the mouse and are not activated with the keyboard. Tooltips also that are activated with the mouse. All these kind of things should be available also with the keyboard. Okay. So what else? What other small tricks that we can follow? The contrast, for example. I'm talking all the time about blind people, but also there is people with low vision that needs a low contrast, a high contrast web page, because if not, they won't be able to see that. So we have some automate tools to detect the high contrast, the contrast issue, the contrast color issues. I would like to share with you a tool that will allow you to do automate tests regarding the accessibility of your pages.
Faster.
So for example, in this page, I have
Dev
installed an extension
alert.
called Axecore.
Virtual.
And with this extension that you can install in your browser, you can detect a lot of accessibility barriers that you have in your web page.
Panels, elements, CSS, close, CSS, console tab, sources tab, network tab, group end, more tabs,
For example,
security, lighthouse, AxDev tools, 6 issues, get image description, AxDev tools,
AxDev tool.
tools, alert, catch more issues with Pro.
So with this application,
More tabs, more settings, send, customize, and close button, dismiss button. Alert, dismiss, scan all of my content.
we can scan our page and see all the barriers. We cannot detect the 100% of the barriers, but yes, we can detect like a 40% or 50% even. So it's a very, very good starting point to make sure that our application is accessible for everybody.
PC, home accessibility. PC, leaving menus, console tab, virtual.
Okay.
Home accessibility, main region, virtual P, hollow round bullet link, good structure, example, list bullet images.
So what else? I don't know if I have time or not.
Hollow round bullet link code wiping images.
Closing the session, your time. I'm very inspired. I think we can talk for at least a few more hours about this important topic, Juanjo. But I do want to inform everyone watching the session and everyone on the session today that if you want to learn more about accessibility, of course, you can visit our Microsoft pages or contact your account team or partner team if you have them, and you will be able to get more private sessions about how to build accessible software. And I want to thank you so much, Juanjo, for this inspiration today, because you're not only showing us that working place could be more inclusive and include people with different disabilities to be like any other equal employee, you're also showing us how a company could actually expand the reach to new customers with disabilities that maybe are not able to use their services today. So I can't thank you enough for opening this door for a whole new world for everyone watching the session and on the session today.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Juanjo.
Thank you.
I want to take this opportunity to invite two other speakers to our session today, because there is one more opportunity you should all follow closely, and that is sustainability. In Microsoft Western Europe, we have an amazing opportunity to enable our customers to achieve more sustainable business and operations and reaching their sustainability pledge. And the estimated total addressable market for sustainability is around 85 billion by 2025. So I'm very happy to have Ole Henrik Rie with me today. He's a client executive from Microsoft Norway. my ex-colleague, and he will be talking to Anna Olsen from our software partner Cognite about how they address the sustainability opportunity using their industrial data ops platform, including some specific customer use cases. So welcome to our SaaS Academy webinar, both of you, and I'll let you, Ole Henrik, take the lead on that.
Thank you so much, Doreen, and thank you for having us. I'm still blown away by the incredibly inspiring session we had before. It's really fascinating to learn new things about how to operate technology in a very different way. So again, thank you. We are here to talk about sustainability. In order to do that in a good way, I thought I'd explain a little bit about our journey into sustainability and how it sort of started, and not the least, how it's accelerated incredibly over the last few years. So let me dive right into it. We ourselves found that planet-sized challenges require planet-scale innovation and business transformation. So Satya and others in our strategic leadership team have all sort of pledged that we should lead the way. We should be a company that actually paves the way for others. And we started very early coming up with carbon commitments and trying to do the right things. And about two and a half years ago, we started with some very, very aggressive commitments into the market that we said that we would be carbon negative by 2030. This being the SaaS Academy, I guess quite a lot of you understand that being a global cloud operator, this actually means something. For us to be carbon negative is actually a big deal. We are also committed to being water positive by 2030, zero waste by 2030, and we're building a planetary computer, which is hosting data sets that will allow NGOs and others that need data to make good decisions for our environment to do that in a meaningful way. We also added some more to that carbon commitment, the carbon pledge. We're actually saying that we are going to be carbon negative throughout the history of our company by 2050, meaning we will actually remove the entire footprint that Microsoft has created since 1975. When we sort of announced this a couple of years ago, and actually it coincided almost with the beginning of the pandemic, we were extremely overwhelmed by our customers' connection to this. So many of our customers reached out and wanted to talk to us about this. They themselves wanted to do commitments. They themselves wanted to, they maybe even had some KPIs. They had no idea how to get there. They had a vague idea that technology played a part in it. And, you know, they knew the basics. They knew that they could use Teams instead of flying. They knew a couple of things, but they really reached out to us for help in order to get to where they wanted. And very quickly, we were overwhelmed. We didn't have enough people to meet all the demand. We started looking into it and basically figuring out what the market needed in terms of core products. So we're investing to build sort of a platform. It's got various names. We sometimes refer to it as the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. The jury's still out on what it's going to be called in the end. But basically looking at some core services that enable everyone to build on top of it, right? So this being, again, the SaaS Academy, we're talking about a cloud service. We're talking about a basic level of functionality that we will be providing and enabling the 5 R's that we call them: the record, report, reduce, remove, replace. That's very important in terms of carbon. There's a huge market here. We're talking about 85 billion total addressable market for sustainability solutions. And there's a huge room for ISV solutions here. So we are working with a lot of our partners like Cognite to really create an impact here. And it's creating a lot of momentum. So with that, I'm going to also introduce Anna Olsson from Cognite. So to start with, Anna, could you tell us who Cognite is?
You're on mute, Anna. You're on mute.
Rookie mistake, right? After all these years with pandemic. Hi all, thank you for inviting me and very nice to be here. So I will start sharing my screen and I will just share a few slides about who Cognite are and what our thinking around sustainability is, our strategy, and also how we can enable this for our clients. And then I hope Henrik has some interesting questions for me as well. And feel free to ask in the chat as well. So I'll share my screen. And you can confirm when you see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So Cognite is a pure SaaS company. We are cloud native and running in Microsoft Azure. We are a global ISV partner of Microsoft. We are a Norwegian company. We're pretty young. We started only about 5-6 years ago. But with the power of the cloud and with the help of Microsoft, actually, we've been able to, as you see, to scale all over the world with our home base still being Norway, Oslo. We started within oil and gas, not so strange, maybe coming from in Norway, but we already saw that this kind of data insight problem was well applicable across the asset-heavy industry. So we ventured into manufacturing, power utilities, and renewables and clean tech. And there, most likely you can see already that we have great opportunities within sustainability. And it's not only actually enabling power utilities and renewables, you can also work with a lot of the incumbents, especially within oil and gas, to kind of help them improve their operations and become more sustainable. It's easy to forget and just focus and think about the new areas with the renewables. So we have decided to set our own sustainability strategy that we can communicate both, of course, internally, but also externally. And I think that really helps for a SaaS company that you really have thought about and can articulate what your sustainability strategy is. So for us, of course, it's into the most important is to empower our customers and our partners. We have quite a big of a partner ecosystem to reach their climate targets. We are a data ops company. We help get data out of data silos and then connect it and make it consumable. And we truly believe that sustainability partly are a data problem. So if we can give this data to our clients, they will be able to improve efficiency, profitability, and become more sustainable. And then we also innovate within these new areas, renewables and clean tech. And here we actually work a lot together with Microsoft as well on R&D type of projects within these new areas. So really investing in understanding the opportunity, working with the offshore wind, carbon capture, and similar. So really focusing on how we can put our technology to use in these type of renewable projects. And then also adopt sustainability by design, ensure that we travel as little as we can as a company, and that we ensure that when we look for opportunities at clients, advise them on use cases, by example, we realized that many of the use cases we were discussing with asset-heavy customers kind of had a sustainability angle on them already, or could be made into just by understanding the problem a bit better. If you improve operations of a factory, you can at the same time ensure that you can get a view on the energy consumption of the machines in the factory, and hence also be able to help the customer enhance energy consumption of that factory. So these three areas are kind of top of mind for us when it comes to sustainability. And then, of course, it's our SaaS offering, our product. So what I mentioned is that our core mission is to make data available from all these source systems, the data silos. And then our SaaS offering is called Cognite Data Fusion. And we ensure that we integrate all these data sources. We contextualize, which might seem like a strange word, but simply put, it's just putting all these data in that comes from data silos into logic. So we connect them together and create a data model that is easy to use so we can make this data valuable. We have a few applications that we provide out of the box, but our main goal is to fuel other applications. And that could be partner applications, and it could be custom applications set up by the customer. And here my advice to you, and you heard Ole Henrik also mention it, it's to look out for what kind of components that Microsoft comes out with. There's no use in reinventing the wheel if we can, as partners, build on each other. So currently we are building an integration with Cloud for Sustainability, or Ole Henrik, what it will be called in the future, that we will be able to showcase for manufacturing clients at Hannover Messe. It's focused on emission reporting and how we can visualize and report on the environmental impact. But reporting is not the only area that is important to increase sustainability. It's also around how you can be more proactive and make decisions based on data, accurate data, and start doing what-if scenarios, forecast, and so on. And here we are integrating currently as well with a partner, another SaaS company called Cosmotech. And they are leveraging Microsoft technology inside, which is the Azure Digital Twin. And this is just an example of how you can think about partnerships also within sustainability and how you can help build on each other. And if you out there are a SaaS partner working within sustainability or other areas, we would of course be interested in connecting if you're working with asset-heavy customers and maybe are struggling to scale because of this kind of tricky data problem. And that is shortly about us. So I know you had some questions for me, Ole Henrik.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit slow, so I think I need you to explain just a little bit more what industrial data ops really means and why that is important for something like the Cloud for Sustainability. What do you do for the Cloud for Sustainability? How do you enable it?
Really good question. So think about big industrial customers. Data quality has not always been the focus. That could be of human errors or because of merger and acquisitions. So you can bet on that the data that is in the ERP system, that might be SAP or something else, one machine, by example, is not called the same in this system as in all these other systems. So what we do is, number one, liberate the data to get it out of the data silos. But if you just put it into a data lake or a data swamp, the data doesn't really have that much value because it's not put into use and it's not logically mapped. So this is what we do with Cognite Data Fusion. We're using machine learning to automatically, as far as we can, we're not magicians, connect these data. A simple example would be that in SAP, the data is called ABC. In the time series database, where you have maybe the temperature or pressure or energy consumption, the same machine is called 1-ABC. Then we use machine learning models to kind of understand, create all this logic and put the data into a logic data model or a knowledge graph. That means that we then have clean data that is connected, and we also have governance of this data, and here it comes the data ops part. You always have to know that you can trust this data, that it's fresh, that it's flowing, that it's in certain boundaries. And when we have this in place, the kind of reporting part and starting to forecast is so much more easier. What we see is typically, if you don't have this, it's really hard to scale these kind of use cases because you spend the same amount of time to get data for one machine to connect it with all the other data series. And typically this is done in Excel today, the connection of the different mappings between the different systems. Nothing bad about Excel, but if you can automate it, you can spend all of your time on actually rolling out the use cases instead.
I think I'm starting to get it. So if you're trying to reach a couple of the R's, so record and look at what you're actually doing, then you need to understand what's happening on your factory floor. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
So both historically, but also real time. So if you're going to start forecasting data from your factory floor, you need to understand what has happened before to these machines so you can optimize maybe how they work more efficiently, optimize your processes and so on, so you can use less energy or report on how your factory is working.
I think it's a fantastic use case, and we've been very successful going out into the world together with this. Can you, if we're shifting gears a little bit, you mentioned in the beginning that you are a global ISV, which is a pretty exclusive club in Microsoft. Can you tell us a little about that journey and how that feels and how we're working together?
Yes, that is really exciting. So we're one of 200 actually ISVs in the world only that are in this kind of global program. So we started, of course, locally, as I would assume most companies does, really working closely with you guys in Norway, Ole Henrik, to build the foundation, launch our product, understand what it takes to build a SaaS offering, working really close with your technical teams to build up this product. And that is the first step, right? That you have a product. And then starting to grow out in the regions and getting new customers in different areas. And then after a while, we were big enough and scaling enough that we were able to get into this global program, which is amazing because then you get help both locally, but also from the top in a way. Getting introduced to other regions, doing joint campaigns. We will be part of the Microsoft stand at Hannover Messe, which is really exciting as very few selected partners. So getting access to those kind of go-to-market opportunities, not only the technical advisory, is really amazing.
And we're throwing out 3-letter acronyms without explaining them here. So
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
We didn't get it. No, we're bad at it. It's a disease in this industry. So ISVs, independent software vendors, that's what we call our partners that build their SaaS solutions on Azure. So just for clarification, we always end up with too many TLAs. I also know a very interesting part that I think a lot of the audience might be interested in. We had another groundbreaking transaction happening just a while back for a product like yours. We actually transacted through the Azure Marketplace. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that is really, really exciting. So we were able to get listed on the Azure Marketplace, or not able, it wasn't hard. So the thing you have to do is to get your product listed on Marketplace. We were kind of not thinking it would work at first because our product is not really something you surf on the Marketplace and press buy on. But what we realized is that there's now an opportunity to set up private offers in the Azure Marketplace. So we were able to and then you kind of sell your offering the normal way, and then the kind of payment or transaction goes through Azure Marketplace, which was really exciting. So it was one of the larger oil and gas majors in Europe, actually, who bought Cognite Data Fusion through Azure Marketplace. And what is interesting with that for SaaS companies like us is that this big company, they didn't have to set up as a vendor through their procurement system, because they just transacted through Microsoft that they already had a relationship with. And another thing that I'm not sure if I should mention, Ole Henrik, but many of these clients, they have Azure commits. So you can use something which is a 4-letter acronym, MAC, Microsoft Azure Consume to Commit to Consume agreements, which means that these clients have committed to Microsoft to consume a set of Azure consumption. And the beauty of this system here is actually they can pay for the full CDF subscription or the Cognite Data Fusion subscription using their Azure commit, which opens to completely new business models for our the SaaS companies in your network.
Yeah, because this is really, it's no secret. It's something we talk about, and it's something that a lot of our major clients actually have, and it really is a way of creating business, as you say, with a new business model that we haven't really touched on before. So it's been a great journey, and I cannot wait for the continuance. So where are you looking for the future, Cognite? Where you want to go from here? Where I mean, you're Norway's first official US unicorn. The growth is incredible. Where do you go from here?
Well, the goal is to become the largest industrial software company in the world. So there's no limit in where we're going to go together. We're going to get listed we're going to IPO, get listed on one of the major, so we're going to go public. And we're going to help the largest and the smallest customers in the world to optimize their operations and to become more sustainable. So we have high targets for ourselves.
That's fantastic. I hope we've managed to convey some interesting information about how to work with Microsoft, how sustainability is a true driver. I can personally attest that it's been a strategic lever in my relationship to all my clients that it's like nothing else. It's been a door opener where we have the shared vision, the shared goals, and we're discussing the same topic, and we're all in this sort of problem-solving mode together, which I think is truly unique. And this you can combine doing the right thing with actually doing business, which I think is great. So I would really like to thank Anna for being sporty and being here with us today. And back to you, Doreen, if you want to close us off.
Hi, Ole Henrik. Yes, thank you so much for you and Anna for this really inspiring session. Again, one of the things I love about SaaS Academy is that we don't only get to talk about things that matter today. We actually get to look at future things, at trends, market trends, and what people should really pay attention to have a market differentiator. But I want to ask you both one last question before we wrap the session, and that is, what should people in the session today or listening to the session on demand do if they want to start checking sustainability and starting to think about their sustainability strategy? Either if they're going to implement it internally or if they want to start building a sustainable application. Could you just pinpoint us to like one or two things people could do after today's session?
Well, I think what a lot of people is doing is looking at UN sustainability goals and setting those as at least a benchmark of what you need to be doing. I think getting your own house in order is a very good place to start. I think that's something that everyone should do. And I think sustainability is there's sustainability opportunities in almost every aspect of business. So there are the simple stuff that we talked about, travel less, and then the more complex stuff like optimizing production lines or reducing emissions from complex industrial processes. There's so many ways of coming at it with a sustainability angle. So I think just thinking through your offering and your idea and figuring out whether there actually might even be a sustainability angle is a place to start. I don't know if you want to add something, Anna.
Yes, I was actually thinking about the sustainability in action badge that we have in Microsoft. That's a learning path that could teach everyone more about the fundamentals that and the terminology that exists in that aspect. So I'm gonna ask Rav to help us put the link in the chat, and I basically advise everyone just to start there, just to learn the landscape, the terminology, and then of course if they have a customer or partner account, to contact them to learn more. Anna, would you like to say closing words?
No, I agree with you both. It's really important to understand what and discuss what do you put into sustainability and what can you do. So when we started to set our sustainability strategy, we actually started with looking at ourselves and our customers. What had we delivered already? And as I said, we realized that in many things that we already had delivered, we just had to kind of adopt it a bit to also include the sustainability aspect without really thinking a lot totally new. So look into what you deliver today to your customers and ask them what their challenges are. And most likely, depending of course what your offering is doing, you are not that far away that you might think you are.
Exactly. And I also want to add one more reference for our audience today, and that's the Microsoft Pledge program that has sustainability as one of the building blocks that we would like to promote with our partners. So I'll post the link here as well. I just want to thank you very much for a very inspiring session. It's a real pleasure and a privilege to be here and be able to talk about so exciting things. Thank you for our audience. Hope you have a good day or evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you, Rav, for the support, and see you in the next SaaS Academy technical session tomorrow. For more details, go to our aka.ms/SaaS-Academy page, and see you in the next sessions. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.